Y'all, I'm telling you, Homelander's breast milk fetish is kinda underrated. Anyways, yo, I'm back with another video. And I know, 4 videos back to back? It's unheard of coming from me. But I told you guys I try to be consistent. Anyways, as you could probably tell, this video is going to be about the boys. Or, well, in this case, more specifically, the finale. And yes, I know, I'm late. This video is long overdue, and I honestly wasn't going to make one either. But I had an idea to cover another particular show's ending that aired recently, and you know, I kinda wanted to make a reference, but it kinda would've sounded half-assed because with no context, but yeah, here we are. No Rudy though, cause fuck that guy by the way. But right now, I've only got one thing to say to the boys.
Thank you so much for wasting my motherfucking time.
Okay, so it wasn't that bad, but it was definitely lackluster. The finale was just barely serviceable. I feel like that's the best way to describe it. As a matter of fact, the whole season felt like this. But hey, it's what Clara would have wanted, right? The first episode though, man, like, how did they fumble this? It had such a strong start with Starlight exposing Homelander by the Flight 37 video. Props to her, by the way, for following through with her word. Literally, the golden opportunity to legitimize these fraudulent ass clickbait posters. But here's the part that threw me off. Why did the writers make the decision for Homelander to debunk said videos by saying that it was AI?
Are you serious, my brother?
What happened to everything he threatened to do back in season 3 episode 4? Had this man confessing that he'd wipe New York off the map just because he wanted to. This was supposed to, and was advertised to be the season that Homelander just suddenly snapped and started putting everybody he slightly disagreed with on t-shirts. Or if not, then at least some sort of dictator, which once again would be accurate to one of the posters of him walking into the White House. Like bro, they had this man up in space. As if he was marveling at what was more than likely the results of the chaos that he catalyzed throughout the season on Earth. Had him posed up like Darkseid with the way his hands were behind his back, but for what? Out of all of them though, this one's definitely my favorite. It has Butcher standing behind what looks to be Vought Towers in pieces. Like Homefather. That did not happen. Sure, they cancelled Homelander overnight, but fairly soon after, Stan Edgar was right back into power, running Vought like nothing happened. But hey, it's what Clara would've wanted, right? My second favorite was definitely this one, and mainly because it paid tribute to the comics. Well, not really, only just visually, because once again, none of this happened because John over here wasn't even close to assembling an army like his comic counterparts. Granted, they were kinda just for show, but it's the thought that counts here. Cause all Homelander did was gather some telepaths who, let's be real, they did nothing. This man is a fake demon. Both Noir II and Thomas Godokin racked up more kills in one episode than Homelander ever did in the final season. Let that sink in. These writers and the marketing team were surpassing Rigby levels of cap cause we were promised a scorched earth, but all we got was a slightly damaged room in the White House. The teenage kicks were also completely unnecessary, literally just there to fill screen time. The same guys, mind you, who got done out in like the 5th or 6th issue of the comics if I remember correctly. And I could talk about how underutilized the other superhero teams were in the show, but then again, it kinda isn't necessary because they didn't play a huge role in it to begin with. I think they only mentioned the teenage kicks before when they were dealing with Pop's Claw, but overall that's a whole different can of worms. For the superhero teams I mean, they just weren't explored enough in the show. And jeez man, they really played Marie's character and the rest of the Gen V characters for fools here. How are you gonna make her and Jordan show up in the penultimate episode? Just to make her downplay her own abilities, which, last I checked, worked really well in Gen V's last episode. And my stupid ass thought they couldn't make this episode any worse, but dear golly was I wrong. They caught her driving the victims of Homelander's cult rallies up to North Yankton. Oh my bad, did I say driving? I actually meant to say seat warming. Like dog, what was even the point of bringing back one of the most powerful soups? Probably even top 2 in the verse, an Odessa baby right here, just to make her play Harriet Tubman. Jordan and Emma easily could have done that on their own, and Marie could have stayed to fight the good fight. And that's it. That's the last time we see some of the Gen V characters, and the rest didn't even bother to show up at all. A quick suggestion though by the way, They could have just shown a slight time skip and just included the Gen V characters from the jump, as if they were working together from the first episode. But yeah, they really did Gen V dirty here. And by the way, this Plan B stuff of giving Kimiko the Soldier Boy blast would have worked better if they hinted at it in earlier seasons, and not in the second to last episode. And I hate to bring this guy back up again, but bro, Soldier Boy had no relevance this season, other than the shoehorned V1 plotline, which didn't even matter in the end anyway. I'd even go as far as to say that they exploited our love for Soldier Boy's character to use him to find a way to make the V1 relevant, and while doing that, he'd also be able to use that opportunity to talk about Stormfront as foreshadowing. Well, at this point we really know that it was just to promote Vought Rising, but once he fulfilled his role, they put him back on ice. But once again, it's what Clara would have wanted.
Because that's what she would have wanted.
And also, I just gotta do it, man. I've gotta give a quick fuck you to Sage. The most useless character since Hiyoko Saionji. Literally just Ashley 2.0, but I'm almost 70% sure that Ashley has more feats than her when it comes to being smart. And dog, what is this? Why is this in episode 7? You expect me to believe that this is the same Dognot who not only ate out a dog, but was able to track down Marie from at least half a state away. But now all of a sudden, he can't pick up MM and Starlight. I mean, I guess, bro. But hey, I can't hate on everything though. The Deep's writing was honestly just so phenomenal, man. Like, no cap on God, bro. This dude was given an out, got right back in, and became the most irredeemable character ever. You love to see it. Oh yeah, and Frenchie could have been saved, by the way, if these fuck-ass writers remembered that Marie can revive people. Whole plot of Gen V Season 2, by the way. But they just had to off-screen him. Quick note, but I love how the writers introduced Marie in this episode, told her to fuck off, and then killed off Frenchie in the same episode. Straight up just dangling their hairy unwashed nuts in our faces, man. Speaking of which, this asshole stuff was so unnecessary. The finale would have benefited massively if they just cut out that whole sermon. It was hilarious though, I won't lie.
I am reminded that I do have something to give you. The knowledge that I have seen each and every one of your assholes.
Excuse me?
It says what it says.
That's another thing about this finale though. The runtime. Now the first time I saw the news about the last episode being only an hour long, I didn't believe it.
Believe it!
I genuinely thought that the Big E himself was just trying to tickle our beards. And I don't have a beard myself, so either way, I didn't know what was going on. And hence, I wasn't going to give this man a single chuckle. Cause it makes no sense as to why the last episode of the entire show, with minimal progression throughout the entire season, would have the standard length of every other episode. And I kept on denying that possibility up until I booted up the last episode. And the issues just kept coming. And firstly, the Starlight fight made no sense. Kinda think this should have hit way harder considering what the Deep did to her. And next up is why did she fly him to the beach where there was fish and sea? I understand she couldn't have just flown him out to like the middle of the city, but then again, she could have just flown him to like the forest. And from there on, scrapped a little, then blinded him with her powers. Then, I don't know, maybe crushed his balls and broke both his legs and arms. Only to chuck him into a water body or somewhere he could just sink. And then she says some Leon Kennedy ass one-liner and you know, he then gets vivisected by Ambrosia's cousin. Did I cook or not? Let me know in the comments. Like, obviously I know it was to set up his death of dying in the ocean, but I feel like they could have done something more. Cause even after Kevin refused redemption, Annie didn't blast him with intent to kill, I don't think. And side note, but Ashley almost would have killed Allfather with the gag she had custom made for him. That's insane. But bro, what really got me this episode was the power scaling. Now, I'm not usually a power scaling type of guy, but when it starts drastically affecting the story, I'm gonna mention it. Like for example, when Homelander was able to bisect Kimiko instantly in the first episode, but then all of a sudden, in the last episode he's firing concussive beams like his Cyclops or some shit. Butcher's tentacles being fast enough to intercept Homelander, even though in the same episode he took someone up to space and came back in like 4 seconds tops. Or nah, this was my favorite one. When Ryan and Butcher were strong enough to hold down Homelander, while 3 grown men weren't even enough to hold him down in season 3. Oh, but here's the real kicker. Homelander over here is on V1. It seemed like it didn't give him any new powers. So we as an audience thought that it would at least buff his powers a substantial amount, right?
Incorrect.
Wrong. They must have given this nigga the V2 or some shit, cause we didn't even see him barf out blood or have tentacles come out of his ass or something to at least prove that he had V1. I will say this though, Homelander's ending was so satisfying. I personally think that Butcher should have tortured him a bit more because of, you know, what he did to his wife, but hey, that's probably just me. But it was especially satisfying with the way they paid tribute to the comics. I like that. Well, kinda, cause you know, comic noir. And I can also say that the comics had a way more concrete ending, like it was just better. The writing really fell off though, in my opinion, because they leaned way too hard into parodying, and in doing so, killed nearly all the tension that the show previously had. And it also lessened the stakes when half the team started having superpowers. What I loved about the boys was that they used to be faced with impossible odds. Cause realistically, 4 normal dudes and a mute soup wouldn't go far against an evil corporation, even if they had off the books CIA funding. And I will not be watching Vault Rising. These writers really fumbled a superhero TV show, almost 7 years in the making, just to talk more about and bring back probably Kanye's favorite character in the show. But hey, you already know what I'm gonna say. It's what Clara would've wanted. But I mean, they did do some right things in the last season, but honestly, just too many things wrong. And by the way, I should have prefaced this in the beginning, but I am not hating on the actors. All of them played a phenomenal role. They're actually one of the reasons why I kept watching, and especially Anthony Starr, along with Carl Urban. And you know it's bad when the actors themselves were liking posts that were talking shit about season 5. That's how crazy it was. But yeah, beyond that,
my disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like. It's what Clara would have wanted. And comment down below if I missed anything or if I made any mistakes. But with that being said, fuck Nintendo and Rockstar, and I'm going back to bed.
You gotta tell now.